Hello, and in this week's video, I want to talk to you about how I came back to exercise after 4.5 years and how you can get back into exercise too. So if you haven't met me before, my name is Emma. I am a 48-year-old plus size personal trainer, whatever that means. I'm also a yoga teacher, health coach, and Reiki master. And I'm really on a mission to help women who are just like me to get back into exercise and to stay exercising because it's important. Not necessarily so that we look a certain way in our bodies, but so that our bodies can do all the things they need to do to keep up with our lives, and also maybe even have some time left over and some energy left over for our dreams as well. And so in this week's video, I really wanted to talk you through kind of the evolution of my own exercise lifestyle and why I gave up exercising for myself for over 4.5 years, and how I got back into it and how you can as well. So first of all, I just want to talk a little bit about why I think exercise is so important, and also why exercise doesn't have to be like sweating it out at the gym as well. And we'll get to that at the end of the video. But I just want to remind you that being able to move your body regularly is so important for so many reasons. One is that there is massive mental health benefits. It really does help to improve your confidence. It helps to reduce depression symptoms. So many things that exercise can help with. And I'm not promising that it can solve all your problems, but it definitely makes a difference. It can definitely help. So that's one thing. The second thing, as we get older, we need our bodies to function well. And I spent a couple of years as a receptionist in a chiropractic clinic, and believe me, if you use it or lose it kind of mentality is actually true. I saw so many people much younger than they needed to be who could barely move their bodies because they hadn't prioritized regular movement. And so to be functional in the world, to be able to carry all your shopping in one go, so you don't have to do multiple trips. That's a big one for me. But, being able to get down on the floor so you can play with kids or grandkids, and, being able to go for walks and hikes when your friends go, and being able to just participate without having to think about it. That's another reason why exercise and looking after your body is so important. And then the third thing, of course, is it is proven to help with reducing the likelihood or reducing the symptoms of chronic diseases like, say, type 2 diabetes. And so one thing I'm not going to promise from this video or from doing exercise is that you're going to lose weight. That's not something that actually I believe any personal trainer should promise you, because for one, all of our bodies are different, and so we can't, as a personal trainer, guarantee weight loss at any given time because we don't know all the factors that make up your body and the way your body responds to exercise. And then the second thing is that, like, exercise doesn't do a lot to make you lose weight. It can make you stronger, and it can make you potentially tone up a little bit if you're doing a lot of dieting and exercise. But exercise is not the driver of weight loss. And for some people, if they haven't been eating well at all and they haven't been moving at all, changing the way you eat, changing the way you exercise may change your weight. But for most of us, it's not going to make a huge difference. And so that's why I really want you to focus on the mental health benefits, the functional benefits, the fact that you can live your life better when you're a fitter person, and also just noticing that you're less likely to develop really, really bad chronic disease if you do exercise regularly. I just want to remind you of all of those things. So back in the day, growing up, I was always really thin. And even in my 20s, people used to say to me, "Are you anorexic or something?" And it was just something that was natural for me. And so I did ballet and I did basketball growing up. But in my 20s, I didn't do much at all. I didn't really think about exercise. I was thin, I was energetic, I just ran around and did whatever I wanted in my life. And then in my early 30s, I had a really devastating breakup with a boyfriend, and I stopped eating because I just felt so stressed. And with that, I lost quite a lot of weight. And at that time, I would see people at work, say I worked in the Sydney office, and I'd see people from the Melbourne office, and they'd say, "Oh my God, you look great." And so through my heartbroken brain fog, I heard, I look good, I'm skinnier, that must be a good thing. And what that sort of started was a decade, pretty much my whole 30s and a bit of my 40s, where all I was wanting was to lose the last 5 kilos. I thought if I lose 5 more kilos, I'm going to be looking really awesome and sexy, and I'll get a new boyfriend and everything will turn around. And it really was a decade-long kind of obsession. So I did lots of exercise, I counted my calories, I weighed myself every day. I put myself through so much angst, because some days I'd be up, some days I'd be down, and my self-esteem was 100% tied to that number on the scale. At the same time, I was battling endometriosis. I had stage 4 endometriosis. And for me, one of the most obvious symptoms, I don't think it was the worst symptom, but one of the most obvious ones was that I would get a lot of abdominal bloating. And I would sit at my desk, you know, when I was having a really bad endo attack, and my stomach would be pressing into my waistband. And in my head, I was thinking, oh, I've really just got to lose the last 5 kilos. And never once did I think of that compassionate thing of, my darling girl, get yourself some larger pants so that you can be comfortable when you're not well. Never crossed my mind. It was always lose the last 5 kilos, lose the last 5 kilos. And for a number of different reasons, I ended up quitting my job in Sydney and moving to Albany, studying to become a personal trainer and health coach. And for a long time, I thought my mission is to help other women get skinny so that they can feel like they're feeling confident and powerful. And I thought that it had everything to do with the way your body looked. And when I look back at photos around that time, I look so thin, not unhealthily thin, but I look really, really thin. And in my mind, I remember thinking back then, 5 more kilos, 5 more kilos. I was never satisfied with what was on the scale. And it took up a lot of my brain space, and it really affected the way I showed up in the world and how confident I was. And it just really consumed me. And I don't know if that you've had that experience, but you know, that's what was going on for me in my 30s and early 40s. And then when I was 43, I found out that I needed to have, well, kind of made a decision with my surgeon to have a hysterectomy because the endometriosis had gotten so bad. And so I had a full hysterectomy and they took out my ovaries. And so at age 43, I was postmenopausal overnight. And I remember being in my hospital bed and I was still dealing with the pain of the surgery and I was on the good drugs. But I remember getting that message. I got this message that kind of hit me right in the heart. And it said, Emma, you've hated your body for long enough. Now it's time to start loving it. And I took that on board immediately. I really felt that and knew that I had to go on a mission to learn to love myself and my body for what it can do for me, not because of the way I look. So I had a couple of months off to recover from my surgery and I went back to teaching my yoga classes and my boxing classes, and I kind of stopped exercising for myself. So I guess I was a little bit like a chef who goes to work and does all this, you know, cooking for other people, but I was never doing anything just for me. And, you know, I was missing out because I was missing out on those mental health benefits. Of course, I was getting some from teaching classes, but it's not quite the same as, you know, doing exercise for yourself. And every few months I would try a new exercise program because I knew as a personal trainer, I know how important exercise is. So I'd try a personal trainer, going to see a personal trainer, or I'd try a fitness program. I'm like, I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to get on this. I'm going to be okay. But nothing stuck. And so it went for 4.5 years of me not doing any exercise for myself. And that's just the way it was. And I found myself thinking, you know, at some point, I'm going to have to exercise again. But that's okay. I love my body no matter what. So I'll put up with this for as long, you know, for as long as I need to. And I look back on that now and I sort of think, well, Emma, you probably needed a big rest. You know, you'd been the decade in your 30s and early 40s, you had put your body through the ringer. You'd had multiple surgeries. You know, you'd had a lot going on in your life. So maybe your body just really needed a big rest. But I got to the end of 2021, towards the end of 2021, and I really felt like I was ready to start exercising again. And I would try, as I said, I'd try different things, But what I found was, all of the exercise that I could find, say on YouTube, was never a body that looked like mine. No one ever had a belly that looked like mine. So I never felt like I could do the exercises that were put out in front of me. I always felt like they were all really kind of quite gung-ho. And so, to go from not much to heaps at once just felt like too much for me as well. And then the third thing was, I was really tired of all the weight loss bullshit that I would hear when I was trying to join other people's exercise programs, because most programs, that's all they're talking about is weight loss and you're going to look like this at the end. And I know enough to know that that's not true for most of us. So I didn't connect with that, and I thought there's nothing out there for me. But while I was trying out different exercise programs over that 4.5 years, I was doing a lot of stuff for myself. I was meditating, I was journaling, I was, learning Reiki and, applying the Reiki principles in my life. I was learning about chakras and using my tarot cards and my oracle cards. I was watching RuPaul's Drag Race, which if you haven't watched, is an amazing show about, it's about drag queens, but it's about self-acceptance and self-love. I was doing all of this. And so when I got to the point last year where I was really feeling ready to start exercising again, I thought, if there's nothing out there for me, then I need to create something. I need to create the perfect exercise program for me. And that's what I did. So I started with 3 mornings a week with a group of women, and we would start exercising on a regular basis. And we started from scratch, quite gentle, a bit of yoga, a bit of walking, a bit of strength training. And then over time, I realized what I was missing was sort of a level of, keeping in touch with my goals. And one thing that I've loved doing for my self-development and my spiritual practices is following the moon cycles. So at the new moon, creating new goals, and at the full moon, releasing anything that's holding me back. And I thought, why not add that in? I love this spiritual stuff. So I added that into the program. And then I added in the power hour, which is a 1-hour session every week to prep food to make sure you've got healthy food available. And so what I found was, all of a sudden, I had created a program that I wanted to do. And that meant, since October last year, 2021, to now we're in May 2022, I've pretty much exercised every week, 3 times a week for me and for my group of women, but in a way that I want to exercise. And I finally cracked that code of being able to exercise in a way that makes me want to do it. And so next up, I want to share with you the 3 things I've learned from doing that and how you can apply them to your life and hopefully create an exercise program that you want to do. So what were the 3 things that made me stick to an exercise program after not doing anything for 4.5 years? The first thing was accountability. So because I was the exercise trainer, I had to be there. I have to be there 3 mornings a week. Like, I've just been sick. You might be able to hear it in my voice, so I cancelled a couple of sessions. But in general, I have to be there. So that's my accountability. And that means I actually go and do it. Some mornings I wake up, I don't want to, but I have to. And so that's fantastic. Now for you, you may not be a personal trainer, right? I get that. But how can you build in accountability for yourself? Maybe it's getting a personal trainer and you have to meet them, otherwise, you lose your money. Maybe it's having a friend that you meet up with on a regular basis. How can you add in that accountability so that you will do it? Because it's very great to have these ideas of I'm going to, but how do you make that actually happen? So that's the first thing I want you to think about. The second thing I want you to think about is making your exercise routine your own. So I think what happens to so many of us, which is what happened to me, is I tried lots of different things, but the body shape wasn't right for me, or the level wasn't right for me, or the time of day wasn't right for me, or the type of exercise wasn't right for me, and I didn't enjoy it, so I didn't stick to it. What I encourage you to do is find someone that does the sort of exercise you like to do, or has a body shape like yours so that you're able to do it, or starts at the beginning, which is what you need right now because you haven't exercised for a while, whatever it is for you. And if you're really not sure where to start, if you are the sort of person that says, I hate exercise, I hate it, I hate it, I hate it, I get it. But maybe look back to when you were a kid and figure out what sort of exercise you liked then. You know, did you go to dance classes? Did you go running? Did you play team sports? Try and find out what it was that you liked about whatever you did as a kid and do more of that. And if you didn't like exercise as a kid, again, that's totally cool. But maybe then just start to think about some of those things I mentioned. What sort of just naturally sounds like it might be a bit of fun, and go from there. The third thing that has helped me stick to exercise for the last 6 or more months now is, after 4.5 years, mind you, is that I've found a way to love and accept my body that has nothing to do with the way I look. So most exercise programs, as I've said, and as you probably know, are focused on how you look and, you know, taking measurements. Oh, let's tone ourselves up. Let's look a certain way. If you do this, you might look like me. Let's find a way instead of just knowing that we are worthy, no matter our size, our age, our shape, anything to do with the way we look, and more about how we are as a person. What are some of the sort of, you know, I like to say the spiritual things that you can add in that actually support you as a person, and know that you're worthy, whether you wake up for your exercise program or not. You know, you are still an important person and you're worthy of your own love and other people's love. So please try and find a way to add that into your exercise routine, because I think so many exercise routines are not including that. They're focused on, you're not good enough now, but you will be after you do this. So if you feel like you need some support, and maybe someone with my body shape as a personal trainer is the person you want to work with, I've got multiple ways that we can work together. One of them is as a personal trainer, just one-on-one. We can do half-an-hour sessions. We can do them online or in person if you live near me. Otherwise, I would highly recommend my 6-month health coaching program, which is called Love Yourself to Health. And it's a comprehensive program that looks at a little bit about how you eat, how you move your body, how you learn to love yourself, even your career, because all of these things affect our self-esteem and who we show up as a person. And so in that 6-month program, you also get access to my membership, which is the 3 mornings a week exercise program, which is called the Self-Love Health Club. And you get a whole bunch of other bonuses as well. But if you're ready to really change your health and to change the way you've been treating your body after 4.5 years like me, or maybe it's been longer, then I highly recommend checking out Love Yourself to Health, and there'll be a link to that with this video. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope I've inspired you to start exercising today, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.